How do guys do that in return? How can you?
By having a strong sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm. Now how about guys? How do guys do that in return? How can you?
By having a strong sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And not being distracted by female energy.
Yeah, I mean, does a girl want a guy who is that affected?
No.
You guys ever see the movie American Pie?
No.
Do you remember the girl Nadia? Yeah. Was it Jason Biggs? Is that the guy, right? And just looking at her with his clothes off, or with her clothes off, he's like, oh, right, and then he finishes. So see, on one level, right, and that's very unattractive, right? So on one level, look, the girl wants the guy who's responding to her, right? She wants the guy who's attracted, but she wants to play the game of trying to do that to you. That's her fun. Do you see that? Her fun in this is like that little game, like how can I get him, right? Like how can I get that attention? How can I, make him respond? All right? And that's like what sex is, Like when you're having sex and the girl's like trying to turn you on. She's trying to, get you to respond. All right? And so, and then you do the same back, right? And so on and so forth. So the thing is like, on one level, yeah, she wants you to respond, but on another level, not too much. All right? You have to be centered, and then maybe it's almost like this. You're centered, and then she kind of pulls you out a bit, and you get your center back. She might pull you out a bit, you get your center back. Whereas most guys, what is it like? Okay? Right? No center at all. So, for guys, first up, the first thing that you can do, but I'll get into the pros and cons of this, is called flipping the script. And this is a fascinating concept. By the way, I don't do it myself, but I used to, and I'll tell you the pros and cons of it. Flipping the script, I believe, I'm not totally sure, is an old pimp term. Is that right, guys? Anyone know about this? Okay, well, do you guys know what? You guys know what a pimp is, right? They seem to be getting popular these days. Like it seems to be like a cool thing to be a pimp, which is actually probably one of the least respectful professions you could have, but nonetheless, it's got to be cool because they have a kind of style about them. Well, what pimps will do is they'll flip the script. So, like one thing that pimps do is like they won't have sex with the girl, right? Like they won't sleep with their girl. That's like one of the things that they'll do, and they make the girl chase them, or they'll say, "Here, take my phone number. I'm not going to call you." Like they'll do stuff like that. That's called flipping the script. Now, a lot of these behaviors, like for example, rewarding the girl with a little taste of physical attention and then pulling it away. Looking like you're having fun by the energy of the environment and maybe giving her a bit of attention. This can flip the script and get a girl chasing you. What's also interesting about it is this, though. When you're playing off of a feminine polarity, all right, when you're flipping the script, you are using that feminine polarity. And so what you'll find that you'll get is you'll get a lot of girls asking if you're gay. Okay? Has anyone ever had that before? All right. So see, what happens is you're tapping into that kind of feminine polarity, and then what begins to happen is you can come across as being gay. And some girls like that. Like some girls want, like they're like incredibly attracted to gay dudes, right? And so when I first started a lot of this, I was always flipping the script all the time, and that and I used to get asked that a lot. But I still got a lot of attraction, so it was still working. But how about a masculine polarity then? All right? When we think of masculine polarity, and we're not flipping the script, all right? We're not necessarily trying to flip the script. What are some things that a guy can do without flipping the script in order to assert polarity? Because I think it's fun to flip the script a little bit. Like I like to flip the script a little bit just to flirt, maybe like a little bit here and there just as a tease, but it's not like the basis of what I'm doing.
It makes them drop their guard.
Mm-hmm. Flipping the script is fun, a little bit. Just to kind of like, just like throw out little teases like that. But that's not the basis of what I'm doing at this point. All right, so first of all, first quality that a guy with a very strong polarity has is being at home in the environment. The idea of being at home in your environment has so many ramifications, it's not even funny. All right? Just the idea that you are at home. Okay? The catchphrase is, my house. All right? You guys ever heard that?
Yep.
This is my house. When you're out at a club and you don't feel like it's your house, you don't feel at home there, women can sense that. It is written all over you. So basically, it's like that nice combination where it's like, this is my house, and everybody here is my friend. So when you approach the girl, you're approaching her as if you're already friends in a way, with that full expectation that you're already friends. It's like, this is my house, this is my environment, we're already friends. Some guys are able to achieve that by going out to the same venue over and over and over. Do any of you guys here have like a favorite venue that you go to over and over? All right. Do you guys notice how when you know the bouncer, you know the promoter, you know the bartender, you know the people there, how much more attractive you are to women when you have that, right? And it's not because they even know that you know anybody, it's because they can sense you're at home. All right? In a minute, I'm going to talk about what it means to be at home in the world, but we'll get to that. So look, approaching people as if they're your friends. Now look, next, carrying yourself with total confidence, even a playful cockiness. Total confidence and even a playful cockiness. So have you ever seen a guy, like, a group of guys, they walk with total confidence, and maybe they kind of like throw their arms around a bit, or joke around a bit, jump around a bit, and they've got that a little bit of playful cockiness. All right? You guys ever heard the expression of swagger? All right? What's a swagger mean? Does it mean you're like, okay? Is that what it is? Is that the swag? Right? Like,
you just move a little.
Okay.
You just move a little more slowly than most guys, and you're not scanning anywhere. You're just like in your body. You're very grounded.
Yeah.
And you're moving towards where you're going. You're not in a hurry. You know where you're going, and you're just.
You know what's up. You're feeling the vibe in yourself, right? That's a swag, man. That's a swagger, right? And you can see some guys that do not have the swagger. They're kind of like that, and some guys, they've just got like that relaxed thing. That's the swagger. It's like they're feeling that within their body, and on a very, very subtle level, okay? Not an exaggerated, cartoonish, comic level, but on a very subtle level, they've got that kind of emanating from them, all right? That's a swagger. Now, we talked about grounding energy. Being the source of grounding energy and asserting them what you have to say is funny, interesting, and worth being heard. So look, when you see a guy who's really confident, when he speaks, he knows that what he has to say is interesting. He knows that what he has to say is worth being heard. He knows that what he has to say is funny. Even when what he's saying is not objectively funny, it is subjectively funny. And people will tend to laugh at it. He thinks it's funny. He's self-amusing. Next up, leading the conversation in the fun or whatever direction you want it to go. All right, we talked about being the anchor of the conversation, moving the conversation in the fun direction that you want it to go in. One thing that Tim likes to do, if a girl starts talking about serious things in a club, he'll say, "What are you talking about this for? This is a club." That's because he's leading the conversation. Do the same. Take it in the direction that you want it to go. That's called being the man. Likewise, okay, and look, if the conversation that this is where guys get confused, right? If the girl is having a conversation with you that you are interested in, do you have to change it onto something else to make her like you?
No.
Of course not. But guys get stuck in that. They're like, "Oh, I need to change the conversation." Now, look, you're leading the conversation in the direction that you want it, but if you're enjoying what she's saying, then ultimately she's speaking for your approval now, isn't she?
Yes.
She's speaking for your enjoyment. So let her, right? You don't need to lead it. But the point is, the conversation is where you're enjoying it. All right, how about taking orders, justifying yourself, or responding to nonsense? It's the same thing. And lastly, and this is very, very, very subtle. This is a subtle distinction that is absolutely pivotal to being a natural. Positioning yourself as already chosen by every girl in the environment, and you are choosing the girl that you like.
What do you mean?
All right, let me get into the subtleties of it. All right, so I'm gonna pick you up for a sec. Okay, so we'll hop over here. All right, now say that a girl's walking by, okay, and you say that she's okay. Yeah, here, walk by, right, and you go, "Hey, who are you?" Okay, right, or same thing. Like say that you're walking here, walk over here. All right, no need to worry. Okay, now look, just be walking back this way. Walk this way. All right, hey, okay, who are you? Okay. Okay, all right. Now see, look what I'm doing there. From one angle, you guys could see that this would be me trying to get her. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get her, all right? But no, that's not what I'm doing. When I'm pulling in, I'm saying, now is your chance. All right, so have a seat. Thank you. Okay. You guys give a clap for him for doing that. Okay, thank you. All right, come in front of the audience. All right. So look, ultimately, when you pull a girl in to speak with her, it's not like you're trying to impress. What you're really doing is it's like, look, you are assuming that you're already chosen by everyone there. Okay? Think of yourself as like the guy whose house it is. It's your party. It's your house. All right? Tim would call that being the Lord. So it's your party, your house. And you're like, you're speaking here. You see a girl who you want to talk to. So now you're pulling her in saying, who are you? Or maybe introduce yourself or whatever it is. And basically what the unconscious sub-communication is, now is your chance.
So,
right?
Happy?
Sure. Hey, boom, start talking, okay? Now is her chance to speak with you. So basically what you're saying is, I take what I want. I see what I want, I take it. Why is that an attractive thing to a woman, a man who sees what he wants and takes it?
It shows your strength of intention and you're acting in accordance with purpose. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Look, if you're a guy who does not take the things that he wants, how can she trust you? What can she know about you? So you have to be a guy who's, we talked about resourcefulness, right? The girl wants to see that it's not like you're like, hey baby, look at these things I've accomplished in life. I'm so resourceful. But it's almost like that subtle level of resourcefulness, that really subtle level, and she can see that, all right? She sees that you're a guy who's at home in the world. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking the frame of, I'm already chosen by everybody, and I'm giving you a chance to speak. Now look, as a newbie, going out and trying something like that, it's a stretch. I'm not going to lie. Right? You're like, okay, I'm the chosen one. All right? The chosen one. You're like, who are you? Right? And it's not going to be there at first. But carrying yourself as the one who is already chosen, almost like, imagine the way that a guy like Prince William or Prince Harry, the kind of belief systems that they would have, the ways that they would carry themselves. Right? They're already chosen by countless women. So at this point, if they want to speak with a girl, they'll go over and speak with her. Alright? So this is very much the opposite of sort of like, hooking her in very indirectly. This is like, you just see what you want, you take it. It's needy if you're going in there and giving your power away. It's highly, highly needy. But when you're not giving your power away, it's extremely effective. Let me tell you how effective it is. It's so effective and so easy that when you figure it out, you'll probably start to develop an ego around it and it'll stop working. That's how effective it is. Because when I first learned this, that all that you really have to do to attract women is just walk up, pull them over and say, who are you? And sit there, I couldn't believe it. Alright? I was like, this is amazing. And I would look at other guys. I got to the point where if any guys are putting in any effort to be successful with women, I almost thought it was a joke. I was like, I feel bad for the man. They don't realize the truth. You just walk up, pull her over, and she'll start qualifying herself to you. So you can actually look at some of my old boot camp testimonials where they're like, Tyler just walks up to the girl and she just sits there qualifying herself to him. It's amazing. Alright? And that's because I basically learned, how to be the selector. Do you want to know what started to happen to me though? About a month in, when it was working really, really well, I got to the point where I was like, I wasn't really doing it to be the selector anymore. I was just doing it to prove that my new theory worked. Right? It was like, I'm going to prove that this theory works. And so now, I wasn't going in there to be the selector anymore, was I? I was going in there to get validation. Was it validation of myself? No. It was validation of the technique. That's also why. What is one of the worst identities that you can have for yourself?
Pickup artist.
A pickup artist. Why is that? Because if every girl that you're approaching, you're trying to validate the identity, I'm a pickup artist, then even though you're not needy for her, you don't even want her approval, you just want her approval that you're a pickup artist. What is the only guy in the world who wants validation even from a girl who he's not attracted to at all? A pickup artist. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So the thing is, that's why that's a horrible identity. A real man, like a guy with a really strong polarity, he's not going up to the girl going, let me validate my pickup artist identity. Alright? What he's doing is he's just being the selector. I'm interested to talk to her. Let's see what she's about. So essentially, the girl views it as an opportunity to speak with you. Okay?
When it doesn't work, sometimes doesn't that affect your ego as a chooser, though, and you have to defend that?
There's a whole can of worms that happens when it doesn't work, and we're going to talk about that today and tomorrow.
Is this why you say just don't just laugh your ego away so none of this ever happens?
Oh yeah, look. that whole big pimp image that you have of yourself, get over it. Get over it. All right, now look. What is this doing to girls? In the same way, you guys remember how, for a girl, what's happening is that she's putting her polarity, and what's the guy feeling? She could leave it any second, right? So the guy's like, I have to keep being the good energy. I have to keep providing the good energy. And so he's feeling that draw. Well, likewise, when you as a guy have a lot of polarity, what she's basically feeling is that you will do whatever you want. You're the chooser, you will do whatever you want. As a result, because you're going to do whatever you want, on some level, she always knows that you could just stand up and go get another girl, doesn't she? She always knows that. So, for example, have any of you guys ever been doing really well with a girl, and maybe you're sitting on a stool and she starts dancing in front of you? You ever had that? She just starts grinding and dancing in front of you, and she's trying to hold your attention. And what you can even do is, like, when she does like a really good like dancing, you like really look entranced, and then when it's not quite as good, you might kind of just like, wander a bit, and then she tries to pull your attention back, and she loves that, right? That's like the flirtation. Okay? So it's the same kind of thing, all right? I guess on a certain level, what these behaviors do is they make the girl feel like she's in a warm blanket when she's around you, all right? She feels protected and having fun while in your presence, but also challenged by the fact that you're so indifferent to social constraints that if she doesn't hold your attention, you might stray. So what is the difference between guys and girls? The key difference. What I'm going to teach you guys next is the source of polarity. Alright? Where it comes from, how to get it, and how to create a situation where when you're speaking to a girl, you can just stand there totally still, and she's going to feel those emotions going through her. That's what I'm going to teach you. Alright, so what's the main difference between guys and girls that allows us to make those key distinctions, the key distinction between guys and girls and where they get their energy from? Alright, look. In guys, we have something called the sweet spot that women are not restricted to. Okay? So look, have any of you ever had a girlfriend where her friend calls her up on the phone and she says, oh, I'm so upset about something. I'm so upset about this. And she goes, oh, that's terrible. And she hangs up and then excitedly, very gleefully says, I'm going to Susie's house. We're going to go cry together. All right? Ever experienced that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that women don't like to cry? Or don't like to have drama?
They love it. They love it.
Of course they do. They don't love to cry if it's something legitimately bad happened. But the point is that they want to experience what's called a range of emotions. Alright? Women want to experience all their emotions. They want to experience them fully. How about guys? How many emotions do we want to experience?
Orgasm.
Right? How could we define the sweet spot? Would we say happy? Chill, maybe some adrenaline, and getting off. Okay? If you could maintain that sweet spot for the rest of your life, how happy would you be? Right? That would be it. We'd be fine. See, we are more limited. We have a sort of sense of resistance whenever we go outside of that sweet spot. For women, they're not limited by that. They're not confined by that. As a guy, we look at women and we think they're just crazy. Right? From a woman, she looks at a guy and she thinks we're rigid, we're confined, we're restricted. So women are more free to experience the full emotional range. Now as guys, we like to watch maybe like the sad movie once in a while, whatever it is. That's fine too. But for the most part, that other 90% of the time we'd like to be in the sweet spot. So, why is it then that a man, when we have masculine polarity, we must draw state from within ourselves, but for a woman, she can draw state from the environment? Well, that's a very simple thing. The environment is always changing, isn't it? The environment is always fluctuating, it's always changing. What that means is that there's going to be things that maybe you're upset about, stressed out about, whatever. For a woman, she can draw state from the environment because she wants to experience the full range of emotions. So it is completely okay for her to be getting her state off of the environment. For a man, if you draw your state off the environment, it's a losing strategy. Because what happens when you draw your state off the environment sometimes?
It can change.
You can change. Some flux. You can get pissed off. You get angry. You can get annoyed about things. You can be upset. You might not feel as happy as you want to feel. So as a man, you can never be drawing your state or your happiness off of the environment. You can enjoy the environment. You can say, wow, this is beautiful. But the point is that as a man, you do not have the luxury so much of drawing state off of your environment. What are the consequences of all this? What does this mean? Well, first of all, what does it mean to draw state from within yourself? This is where social conditioning comes back. As a guy, growing up in modern society, we are always taught to look at the surface of things. We're taught that, the never-ending stimulation is where the enjoyment is. We are not really geared to look at the depth. But the truth is, we can feel good within ourselves at any point. It's simply a decision that you make and where you allow your awareness to go. Okay? So, this is sort of a weird little glitch, because once you realize that state is more self-generated than externally generated for a guy, a lot of your motivations in life have just completely changed, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that one little realization changes everything for you. Because rather than trying to continually get your state from the environment, you realize that you get it from within yourself. So let's sort of think about what this means, all right? How do we do this? So look, I'll borrow you for a second, okay? So come on up here. So we're standing here, and, you look out. Okay, so it's whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just a room. Whatever.
It's a nice room.
Thanks. Thank you. Alright, so look. Room, whatever. How could he be in a good state right now, right? I mean, it's just a room. There's nothing to feel good about. It's just a room. He's been put on the spot right now. There's definitely nothing to feel good about. That's how a lot of guys would think. But see, the thing is, at any point that you choose, you can feel that within yourself. All right? You can choose to feel that within yourself. And that's a very attractive quality in a man. So why don't we say, look, what are some ways that we can change our state? What are some sources that we draw off of when we draw off of ourselves? Can you think about it? Anyone have any suggestions?
Memories.
Memories? So thinking about the past?
If that's something that happened they really enjoyed in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do
Okay. Appreciation? Imprints? What's that?
To appreciate.
Okay.
The small things.
Sure.
Thinking about what's awesome about whatever moment that you're in right now.
Mhm.
If you feel like, all right, maybe I could be feeling a little better. Well, what is cool about like this right now? Where I'm
Yeah. Absolutely. Now look, I'll show you how I like to do it. Could we get 2 chairs? You have this chair? Anyone want to cough me up a chair? Why don't we just throw them up here? Sit. Okay, so look, we're sitting here right now, and the world is moving fast, right? Like, there's all this stimulation going on. Well, what I want you guys to do right now, and all of you in your seat, and any of you watching at home, is I want you to slow down. Okay? Just slow down. All right? So there's all this different, surface stuff moving around. And that might be where your awareness is right now, right? So I want you to shift your awareness. I want you to bring it in. And I want you to put on your breath. Okay? Can you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is your awareness there, or are you just like, what does this fucking dude tell me to do?
Yeah, it's there.
It's there? Okay. How does that feel?
Feels calm, soothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now take in, say, like a 4-second breath, just like that, and feel the field of energy or whatever it be, say in your feet, your hands. I know this is totally outside the box, guys, but just indulge me here. Okay, so can you feel it in your hands? Okay, can you feel the top of your head? Mm-hmm. Your legs? Mm-hmm. Are you guys doing the same thing? Mm-hmm. Okay, feel the breath. Slow it down. All right? How does that feel? Good?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think some of you are probably doing it and some of you aren't, because it takes time to learn how to do it. All right? When you're in a nightclub, there's so much stimulation going on. Crazy hecticness in the environment. All right? and is designed to suck you in. Okay? The music, the lights. Like one thing that sometimes I get people to do is to plug their ears and just imagine the nightclub all lit up with fluorescent lights. And see what that looks like. And so the stimulation, what that can tend to do is get you focused like on the little me, right? Like, how do I fit in here? What's my role in here? But when you slow it down, your perception dilates, all right? And you're not thinking from that little me anymore, but you're thinking of how you fit in within the environment, and you're seeing the depths of things more, and you're more connected to that higher self, all right? And when you're connected to your higher self and you can slow it down, the congruence tests, the nonsense, they're not affecting you so much. Now see, right now, we're at like a low-key energy. And look, we're talking about, remember, like I said, is this stuff necessary to be able to get a date or anything? No, we're doing advanced stuff here, all right? It's advanced pickup archery. This is the stuff that a lot of the best guys, they do naturally. So right now we're in a very calm state. But do you guys remember how I said you can have the raging brush fire versus the searing hot coal? All right? You can have, that access to almost like your higher self, to that dilated perception where you feel good and still be like joking around, like, hey! Right? Hey, what's going on? Like you can still have that. All right? That centeredness. That's where that comes from. So you can feel good from within yourself. Beyond that, when you slow down, you allow the perception to dilate, you see more depth. Okay, the world has more texture. Okay, so you can look even at the floor, and you can look at the table, and you can look at other people. All right, okay, looking at other people,
Sure.
Right, and you can see more depth. All right, so again, just slow down. All right, so you can see more depth in the other person when you're speaking with them. Okay, because your mind's not. Do you guys know what it means to be scattered? Mm-hmm. All right, so you're not scattered anymore. Okay, so you can feel good from within yourself. Now again, does that not mean that you can't jump up? Hey, how you guys doing? All right, you can jump, you can have that higher, that, again, access to that higher self, just feeling good within yourself. You can choose to do that, right? Do you feel good right now?
I feel awesome.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny, okay? And did you know that when somebody is sort of like, as we call that in the moment, you can help to pull other people into that, right? Okay. And so you can feel good independently. You don't need to keep looking to your environment to give you the instant gratification and never-ending stimulation that you want in order to feel good. Because that centeredness, it comes from inside yourself. And so that's why when you speak to a woman, okay, and and I'm even going to slow it down for a sec. Okay, and then you look at the woman, and you're just speaking with her, and that's where the polarity comes from, okay? Because you're like, oh, cool, sure, just having a conversation. But you're seeing the depth, all right? Do you see the pupils, right? And we'll talk more about this, and we'll talk more about what you see in a woman's eyes and what the depth that you see. And that allows that centeredness. And of course, when you're accessing that higher self, when you've got that strong polarity, you're quote unquote, and I know these are cheesy words, but look, you're connected to your masculine power, okay, as we would call it. All right, very cheesy, I understand that. But when you're connected to that, because you can be connected to it and you can lose it. But when you're connected to it, are you naturally going to qualify yourself?
No.
Are you going to do little jittery things? Do you remember we talked about like the rhythm like that? You guys remember we did that twice yesterday? You'll naturally be along that rhythm, all right? When you slow it down, you're in the moment, okay? The perception dilates so you're not focused on your little petty issues, okay? How does this person see me, or what does that person see me? In fact, you want to know what really happens? I want you to think of it this way. When you think about consciousness, all right? Because, what are you, right? We're, you want to get all weird and metaphysical here for a minute? We're all matter, right? Like, the substance.
Good-looking matter.
Good-looking matter, right? Right? And, we have a consciousness, right? And consciousness is this great gift that we have because we can be conscious of, the world around us. But where that gift can become a curse is where the word self-consciousness comes in. You see? And that's an amazing distinction of consciousness versus self-consciousness. And when you're just experiencing consciousness, that's when everything is smooth, right? You're in the moment, you're conscious. It's when you become too aware of the petty little me. That's when, and you're focused on yourself, right? Because I always say that if you think you have problems, go get bigger problems. Stop focusing on yourself so much, and a lot of your own problems won't seem like such a big deal, you know? Like offering value. But look, that's the difference, okay? So you can feel good within yourself. So here, come down here and stand up for a second. All right? Or actually, just stay right here, okay? So look, again, just breathe in. Okay, now I want you guys to say, feel good.
Feel good.
All right? Say, be happy.
Be happy.
All right? Do you feel happy? Okay? Say, feel happy.
Feel happy.
All right? Do you guys feel good?
Yes.
Okay? Just chill, right? And you can still have a high level of energy. All right? Okay? You can still feel good. You can still have that. But you have to allow the perception to dilate by slowing down. All right? Slow down the scatteredness. Be conscious, but don't be too self-conscious. Be outside your head. You can retreat into your mind for a minute to fish things out. But that's all that it is, isn't it? And so when you're focused on memories, and be that projections of the future or memories of the past, again, that's related to the self. But consciousness is like a natural state of feeling good. All right, and we'll talk more about that. So you see, when I'm out there and I'm having a great night, and believe me, you know, a great night is a feeling like nothing else. All right, it's so addictive. And when I'm having a great night, I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. It's not I am the doer. It is this is happening through me. Okay, if you guys have ever read Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do, he talks about that. In the Tao, they talk about that. He said, you are not the doer. You're not even trying to take credit for it to enhance your sense of self. It's just this is happening through me. So it's that good feeling that you have within yourself. And when you're talking to a woman, and you can look her, you can make really perfect, unreactive, smooth eye contact. And she's going to feel that energy coming off of you. And that's the energy of attraction. So like in the same way that, you know, you might have been attracted at one point to a girl who was totally not the social concept of good looking, and you felt that for whatever reason. Even if you're not the best looking guy in the world, a woman can still feel that coming off of you and say, I don't know why I like that guy. Right? She doesn't know why. But she does. And that's what masculine polarity is. Here, have a seat for me. Thank him for coming up and giving an example. Thanks. Here, have a seat. Okay. Yeah, thank you. All right. So look, you can feel good within yourself. Say, be happy.
Be happy.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Tell me to be happy.
Be happy.
All right. Now look at this. You can change your physiology. Why don't you jump back up here with me for just 2 seconds? We'll go spontaneous. Jump back up. Look. Physiology has a lot to do with it too. Okay? Look. If we're sitting here, right? Same higher self, same in the moment. And now we just go like this. Okay? See the smile? Do you guys see that? Do you see the smile, right? Okay? So if I go, okay, again. Yeah. Feel good? Right? Okay. Go like that. All right, feel good? Okay, do you see what you can do to yourself? You can pump your own state at will. You can choose to feel good at will, and that is what a guy who is really advanced, really great in the field does. You'll see a group of guys that are walking, and they just have, you know the swagger? Right? They have that. As a joke on the boot camp, I call it the power jump. Where I'll say, give me a power jump. Like that, right? And it's just like that own stay pump. It's that own, like that higher self, that feeling good, all right? You can allow yourself to feel good, all right? You can allow yourself to slow down, stop worrying about all the silly, petty little me problems of who's better than who, and who you don't like, and who doesn't like you, and what people think of you, and you can just be conscious of it, all right? Just be aware of what's going on around you, and let go of the self-conscious. And that's where that good, okay, that good energy comes from, okay? Do this, okay? Some sand will go flying as well. That'd be even cooler. Look, so, you know what I'm saying, right? You can do it, alright? You can go into the club, just as soon as you get there, like that. Do this with me, guys. Do it. Right? Okay? Give me a scream. Okay? You can do it, alright? You can choose to do that, alright? You can choose to make yourself feel good when you want to. Okay? Now have a seat for me again. Okay? Thank you. Great example. He's been great. Okay? Thanks. Okay? Now, I've been living in Hawaii, and one of the things that I noticed when I went to the Polynesian Culture Center, which is this completely bizarre place where you explore Polynesian culture, was that the guys, they would play the drums, right? And these guys were awesome, man. They were just awesome. And they would play the drums, and they would scream, okay, I can't even do it the way they could do it. They are awesome, okay? And they can just scream like that. And see, that's like that primitive thing, right? Like that not so much socially conditioned society.
The wild man.
Right? The wild man, okay? And they have that. Like, they can scream. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're connected with that. And look, let me show you something, okay? Here, why don't you come up here for a second, okay? I'll put you on the spot.
Blow the conch.
So, I want to kind of show you. What's that?
Blow the conch.
Blow the conch? All right.
The shell.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So, look, where are you from? Nevada. You ever seen a cowboy before?
Sure.
Okay, you know how they scream yeehaw?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
No.
Try it. No, I know he couldn't. Okay, try it.
Yeehaw!
Okay, come on, give a real one.
Yeehaw!
Okay, do you guys see what he did there? Okay, is he connected to his primitive wild man?
No.
Okay, try again.
Yeehaw!
Come on, do it real fucking loud as you can.
Yeehaw!
All right, okay, so you see what's going on there, right? So does he have the swag right now?
Yeah.
Okay, right? So look, if you yell, how loud can you yell? Can you do that? Okay, what's going on there? You stifle, okay? We'll talk more about that, okay? Now, can you give like yeehaw? Okay, can you give it like that? Yeah! Okay, right? We're practicing, okay? Okay, all right, okay. So like the Texas people now are like, yeah, right? You probably got Texas dudes watching this DVD at home like, yeah, right? Now, I'm not even from Texas. I've never even really done that before, but I just thought of it as an example, right? But again, what do you feel when you do that?
Just this energy.
Yeah? Okay? Can you go like, hey! Hey! Can you... What else? What do you want to scream?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon! Okay? Matt Damon. Alright? Okay? You know what I'm saying? Right? Can you scream... Okay, repeat after me. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Ole, ole. Ole, ole. Ole, ole. Ole, ole. Ole, ole. All right. Okay, do you see? He's learning the swagger. All right? But look, you're not going to be able to, like, really get that. Okay, I'm just making up little songs here. My buddy Chris from Canada, he likes to sing that song. But look, you're not going to find, like, that energy to really be and stay, right? Like, to really attract women hard. You're not going to find that by trying to feed off of other people's reactions. You can't. So it comes from within yourself. And that's what masculine polarity is. See? You bring it from the kind of joke that I do on boot camps. I go like that. It's like, all right, that's what it is, okay? It's, you bring it up, right? Almost like, from your center, whatever it is. So, all right, think about this, guys. Is everyone here feeling good?
Yes.
Okay, tell me to be happy.
Be happy.
All right, you feel good? Okay, you're going to slow down. Okay, you can just allow perception to dilate, right? Can you feel your breath? Can you feel it in your body? Okay, yeah. Now do you have to stay focused there, or can you even, like, move around and just allow yourself to stay centered like that?
You move around.
Right? And see, it takes some practice, right? Because at first it's very easy to just sit down and feel the center, but then to move around like that, that's different. But when you're in that mode, say you go into the clothing store and you have the jeans girl there, right? It's so natural to just scoop her up. And you know why? Because you're following your own intentions. So you don't even think about going and approaching her. You just do it. It just happens. All right? Okay? Now yell with me, okay? Go like this. Look what happened there. It's called stifled, right? Okay? Do it with me again. What's he doing there? Will he do it without me doing it with him?
No.
Why?
He's looking for the energy coming from you.
Okay? So you have to bring it from yourself. Alright? So I'm going to stop halfway through, and you've got to bring it from yourself. Don't look to their reactions. Don't think about self-consciousness. Alright? Don't think about self-consciousness. Yeah, that's probably not the best instruction. Right? But, okay? Just figure out what I'm saying. Alright? So basically, look. Alright? So just bring it from within yourself. I'll stop partway through, okay? He does it for a second, but what happens? We call that the little break in the clouds. The real self shines through for a second, and then it goes back, right? How fucking tight is that, huh? Is that good? Okay. Guys, can you do it with me? So, I'm like, get up here. Okay? Alright, see? And so, what social conditioning, let's bring it back to social conditioning, because it always keeps coming back. What social conditioning does is it disconnects you from that. Alright? It disconnects you from the depth and gets you focused only on the surface. So you no longer see the depth of things. Alright? Your perception is always contracted. What do people think of me? How does this affect me? What does this say about my status? Right? Rather than just allowing it to open up, all right? Allowing perception to dilate and just being conscious of what's around you without being self-conscious. Now, again, masculine polarity. You bring it from within yourself. You're not trying to draw it off the environment. You want to know why? Like I said, the environment is too volatile. You are not the source of what? You cannot be the source of grounding energy when you're trying to draw a state off of your environment. And guys will say to me, well, what if I like music? What if I want to dance? Right? I get that, at least one person will always ask me that. And I say, look, it's okay to draw a state off the environment, just to enjoy it, and to see the depth of things. Alright, that's fine. You know, if you feel the music, it moves through you, whatever it is, that's fine. But simultaneously, it cannot be your primary source. Alright? It's not the main place that you draw state from. It's just one of many. But look, you can draw state off of your environment, but eventually, you know, you always have that ability to go back within yourself. In fact, you guys want to talk about relationships for 2 seconds? Let me even tell you this. Have you guys ever heard of the Coolidge effect?
No, Calvin Coolidge?
Yeah, Calvin Coolidge, right? And what the Coolidge effect is how people are known to get sick of having sex with the same girl over and over. So you know how like when you have a girlfriend and then at first the sex is like blisteringly hot and then over time maybe it goes down? Like maybe the frequency of sex goes down or the enjoyment that you get out of sex goes down. And people say, well, hey, I can't help that, right? That's the Coolidge effect. There's even this science stuff behind it, right? But the thing is, when you're in a relationship in the long term, if you want to continue to enjoy sex, sex cannot be about drawing state from the environment. In other words, sex cannot be about, in the long term, in the short term, fine, right? But in the long term, when you have a relationship, you cannot be drawing state, like the emotions that you're looking for, from the same girl when you're having sex with the same girl over and over. In fact, sex is an outpouring of energy, right? It's not a neediness, it's an outpouring, all right? It's that chance to like when we're screaming up here and yelling and stuff like that? That is what sex is in the long term. It's an expression. It's just a way to just go nuts, right? It's a way to cut loose. It's a way to sort of focus on what you're doing. Did you guys know that even like washing dishes can be like a meditative practice? Like just washing the dishes, right? And like washing as you clean it. One thing that like, as I've, grown RSD and stuff like that, you'll always still see me like helping the guys setting up the tables and stuff like that, helping on all the little areas because I enjoy it. I don't like a lot of people in business, like my business managers and advisors and stuff. They're all like, oh, you've got to cut out everything that's menial and blah blah blah. And I understand that, and I believe in delegation, but like I really like to be down there, enjoying it, right? And it's the same reason why I don't think you should ever feel a need to always talk to high status people. right? Like people have this desire to keep drawing state off the environment, so they keep trying to chase high status people. But people are just people, right? And when you speak with somebody, it's not like you're trying to draw off of them. It's that it's an expression, it's an outpouring. And what's amazing about that is that when you have that kind of mindset, to be able to walk up to a woman who's drop dead gorgeous, it's no problem, because all people are equal to you. And it will make you a lot more naturally screening, doesn't it? Because you're not like already just completely sold on her just because she happens to be in a tight skirt or something like that. Isn't it kind of ironic that it's almost like only when you kind of like transcend that desperate need is when you start getting the super hot girls, right? Like the guys that are really great, they're totally indifferent to looks typically. Like they've been with like countless dream hot Maxim magazine type girls, but they're just as happy to be with like a more regular type girl. They're really looking at the depth. All right, like for me, I found that as the years went on, I just experienced the depth of the girl that I'm talking to so much more strongly than I experienced the surface layers. But because of that, meeting the girls who just have that superficial appearance is it just gets a lot easier, It's like a afterthought almost. Now, like I said, so for the woman, she can draw state off of her environment, right? That's fine. So she's the receiving one. You see what I'm saying? Have you guys ever noticed that, here's an interesting one. How weird is it when you first realize that a lot of women during sex like to have their hair pulled, like to get spanked, that kind of stuff? You guys had that one?
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember like that first girl who like gets you to do that? I remember the first girl that ever got me to do that. And she's like, bite me, right? I'm like, I want to bite you, right? She's like, do it, right? So I'm like, right? And she's like, harder, right? I'm like, okay. She's like, do it as hard as you can. I want to do it. Right? She's like, do it. I'm like that. She's like, oh, right? Oh my God. Okay. And, that's what she wants, right? Some girls, they want their hair pulled. They want the spanking. They want to be, roughed around. Other girls are completely turned off by that. Like any sign of that is like, whoa, back off, right? Like it just, it depends on the woman. But clearly there are a lot of women who enjoy that. And these aren't just like kooky women. I mean, these are women that you could be like in an intellectual discussion with, very well put together, but they want that, who's your daddy, like, that raw sex. And if you don't give that to them, they'll find a guy that will. Right? That's a great way to lose your girlfriend. Like, she wants that good sex for you to meet her needs, and you're not doing it. So, why is that? Again, women draw state from their environment. They want to experience a range of emotions. They want, that passion. All right? As a guy, there's no way I want to get bit. All right? I don't want to be whipped. I don't want to get bit. I don't want, to be spanked. All right? I don't need that. Okay? My life is just fine without that stuff. I could be flexible, but, I'm not looking for that. All right? Women, they want, a lot of girls, they want that range of emotions. They want to be pushed through, like sex is like a huge expression of emotion for them, a huge, wide range and hugely expressive thing. And so that masculine polarity and that sort of giving and outpouring, that, in many ways, there's so many parallels, both in terms of like male-female physical anatomy, but even beyond that, just everything about it, that's where it's coming from. So again, when you have that good feeling that's within yourself, you can almost imagine it in a lot of ways, like you're speaking with the girl, and most guys, what are they doing? They're trying to draw state from what? What are they trying to draw state from? Reactions. They're reaction seeking, right? They're trying to draw state from the girl's indicators of interest. The girl goes, like that, right? And boom, what happens to your state?
It goes down.
It goes, she laughs?
It goes up. It goes up.
Goes up, good.
Yes.
So look, with reaction seeking, again, think of it this way, if you're in the habit on a day-to-day basis of trying to draw state off your environment, if that's how you live your life, is it going to be natural to walk right up to a girl and then try to draw state from within at that point?
No.
You can do it. Like, you can do it, all right? If you have bad habits, like, first of all, say that you're starting out and you're still in that mode where you're always drawing state from your environment all the time. Of course, you can say, okay, for like the next couple minutes, I'm going to like really draw state from within myself, consciously force yourself to do it, and you can have it be effective, all right? It can work. But it's not going to be the ideal. It's certainly not the ideal way of doing things, all right? So you want it to come from within yourself. Isn't it interesting, too, how a lot of pickup, right? Like a lot of the way that guys pick up girls, what they'll do is they come up with all these little tactics, and I've done it myself, every little type of tactic to get the response from the girl to keep their state up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Do this to make her chase, do this to make her laugh.
Yeah.
It's keeping their state up. And remember how we talked about empirical science and how it's very fuzzy, like what causes attraction? If you go do all those tactics and then you have success, what are you going to think caused it?
The tactics.
Right? Especially if you come from, remember the foundational belief set, you're here and the girl's here?
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to believe that. But in reality, it may well, not always, but may well have just been your state. That masculine polarity that you had. Because you successfully pushed all the buttons, right? You successfully kept her flooding you with indicators of interest, so you were able to pull it off.
But you're taking value, not giving value.
Well, it can definitely be like that.
Well, he
but
switches.
yeah, like the thing is, you can still pick up a girl successfully like that. Because look, if you know all the right moves to keep the girl laughing at you continually, you know all of them, which I do, all right? Because I've did it for years. So you know all the right moves to keep the girl laughing. It's so easy to maintain your state. Because you're like, okay, then I'll do this line, then I'll do this line, then I'll do this line. But here's the thing, you're walking a tightrope, aren't you? You're walking on eggshells. And then as we talked about, the tactics get played out, right? When more and more people learn them, and you've got that whole ball of wax. So, essentially, what I later realized was, look, on a really hot night, when I get connected to that, again, she's termed that masculine power, that masculine polarity, when I get connected to that, when my awareness goes there, because isn't that really what it is? It's about awareness, like you... Okay, slow down, and you get that awareness. When you get connected to that, you find success. So look, what do? We draw state from within ourselves. Now, again, this is an advanced seminar, and we're talking about, again, like I said, advanced, I hate the term, but advanced pickup artistry. And why is it that this will increase your closing the deal rate by maybe 10 times to 50 times what you have right now? It's a simple thing. All right? Because I don't harp on a small point like this if I think it's minor. Here's the reason why most of the guys in RSD have just seen results just shoot up so significantly, and also why the guys that come on program are, we're getting like so many reports now of like, instructors like with the guys on the program, like hooking up with girls and stuff, like the same hotel. Craziness. Like, it's literally gotten out of control. What happens very much when we think about congruence tests, if you guys think about that, is that when the girl is with you, she's initially giving the congruence test and seeing if you're holding your state. Mm-hmm. So you're holding your state, right? But at some point in that interaction, I really believe this, the girl will fully withdraw the indicators of interest. Mm-hmm. She will fully withdraw them at some point. So that there is no conceivable way that if you're drawing state from your environment, you could hold your state.
Right.
She will pull it away from you. So what'll happen is, you're like, oh, ha, 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 blah, using this pickup line, that pickup line, she's giggling. You're like, yeah, you're going inside, you're getting dominant, you're doing really well, right? You can do well maybe for an hour, 2 hours, so it can look good initially. But at some point, she withdraws indicators of interest somewhere down the line. Maybe she even goes to the bathroom. What happens to your state when that happens? Like that. What happens when your state goes down? Start reacting. The internal dialogue comes back. Alright? Have you guys ever had that where like you're totally in the zone, you're bringing a girl back up to your apartment, and then just as you're bringing her back up, you start to think. You start thinking about it. What's going to happen? Is this going to happen? Is it cool? Will my friends be impressed? Whatever. And and you see it, the attraction's going down.
Yeah. What happens when you get blindsided by it?
Yeah.
I had a girl one time drive 3 hours to see me on the first date. Come to my hometown, we ate, and I was like a little insecure, but I was trying to play it cool, so I'm like, alright, I'm just not going to talk so much. I'm just going to try to like read or whatever, right? And she's like, let's go back to your apartment. I'm like, okay. We get in the apartment, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna caveman her like right when she walks through the door, right?
Yep.
She walked straight into my bedroom, and I was like, what the fuck? And she sat down on the bed, and she just sat there. But like anything I would do, no reaction. She was just like a statue.
Yeah, it takes it away.
And I'm like, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? And as soon as you let it affect you, you lose, right? And so look, let's keep barreling forward here. When we have, the key thing is, and this is why I've seen the close rate go up so much since this is being incorporated in, is because what's happening now, we're almost coming to a really weird zone. Who here has ever studied what an indicator of interest is? Everybody, right? Everybody. What are the classic indicators of interest?
Touching hair.
Touching the hair, you know, being interested, you know, laughing at your jokes, that kind of stuff. Do you want to know a freaky thing? A lot of the best guys don't read indicators of interest.
Yeah, they're oblivious.
They do not read them. All right?
Yeah.
What's that?
Then you don't react.
Exactly. In fact, I've gotten to a point now where to an advanced, like, to a lot of guys, I don't even want to teach indicators of interest. Like, and it's sort of a dilemma for me as a teacher. Some guys, because that's why we run the boot camp so low ratio, like, so that we can tailor the approach to the individual. Basically, some guys I might teach indicators of interest to, but a lot of guys I don't want to teach it to because I don't want them focusing on that, right? Like, ooh, that was an indicator of interest. My stake goes up now. My little totem pole got higher, right? And then now it goes down. So we want that steadiness, all right? Because again, we're talking about sex-worthy guy. The close, all right? We're not talking about how to make a girl laugh in a nightclub and give you a flaky number. We're talking about the close here, all right? We're talking about getting this handled where you live in sexual abundance. So basically, yeah, your state must hold. But what most guys do, in order to achieve polarity, to achieve that draw, is they do two things. There's two button push gimmicks that we know through this community that are well known. And they're good. And I'm not saying not to do them. I'm just saying that it cannot be the basis of what you're about. They're very good. I think highly of them. I like them. But they're not the basis of what you're about. The first one is entertainment. If you can entertain the girl by talking about topics she likes about, she will feel drawn towards you, right? Because look, if someone's talking about something you love to hear about, you're drawn towards them. The other one, and this brings us back to the bizarre, weird story that I started the day with today. Do you remember the story of the girls from San Diego? They meet the heroin dealer. They go home with them. Why? What made three nice, young, attractive girls go home with the three scummiest guys in Los Angeles?
Need to validate themselves.
Exactly. You have a reality of who you are. And you want that reality validated at all times. Remember we talked earlier about what a hot girl's reality is? Do you remember what it was?
Everybody validates you constantly.
Everyone validates me. Let's just go right back up to the list. What is a hot girl's reality? First, I'm a hot girl. You're the next guy of the night who puts me on a pedestal. You need my validation and sex and approval. I'm too hard to get. Feel free to entertain me if you like. When I say, you know what, this is bratty behavior, because that was, what they did was truly bratty behavior. You don't hook up with my friend and then try to hook up with me. Come on, right? Do you know, okay? What happens to a friendship when you do something like that? They're going to disrupt the entire fabric of all my friendships if she's going to do that. Sure. That's insane, right? Totally unacceptable. So she's out of there. Now the thing is like, we bring her downstairs. These are cute girls. They're not used to being just kicked out. Because I said, you're all out of here. The whole lot of them are out of there. All right? Like, the other two were in the bedrooms with my other two friends. I'm like, knock on their, you're gone. All right? Why is that? That's called living in abundance. How many girls are downstairs at the restaurant? You just go get some more. We're living in abundance here. There's no way that that kind of nonsense can be going on in any house of mine. Now look, their reality, I'm a hot girl, just got violated. So what do? They're going to find some other guy. Remember how I talked about how when you don't study self-development, even when you're normally really confident, when things don't go your way, you just react? This is what girls do. When you say to a girl something like, you and I would not get along, which I think is a great line. I love the line to death. What's going to happen? What's her response?
Oh, we would.
Oh, we would get along, right? It would be so great. She might start touching. Do you guys know the trick of how to get a quick makeout? Like, does everyone here know how to get a makeout within like 30 seconds?
Nope.
It is so easy, it's not even funny. I could teach the scrubbiest guy in the world how to get a makeout within 30 seconds. It's real simple. You just walk up really high energy, like really fun, really high energy, and you just say some entertaining stuff and just keep pushing her away. Push her away, both verbally or even physically. Go, 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 like that. Like almost like this. Like go in, start joking around. Go, you're crazy. You're crazy. Look, uncross your arms. Woman, how am I even talking to you right now? How am I? Here, go. God, what am I going to do with you? Here, come here. All right? Okay? Really, like, it's so simple. Oh, thank you. All right? Okay? Really, really simple stuff. Now the thing, or one I love is, what did you do before you met me? What did you do before you met me? Right? I love that one. Okay? Because essentially you're like taking the reality like fast, right? Like I must listen to him. So the thing is, I mean, just teasing, right? So you can get that makeout. We call that, again, the two types of button pushes that we usually learn are entertainment and pushing away, right? We call that disrupting her reality. Mm-hmm. Disrupting the girl's reality so that she wants to reassert her reality by getting you to respond the way she wants. That's remember I was talking to you guys about the kind of pitfalls of becoming a guru or an expert at something? Mm-hmm. You can actually talk to a lot of gurus who, they're used to having authority, right? And if you're just totally nonchalant, and they'll be like, oh, I'm not going to teach you all my secrets. But if you talk to them, you're all nonchalant, they're like, do you know this thing? Do you know about that? Come on, you know. And then, by the way, what happens when they start telling you the stuff and then you don't react?
They tell you more.
They're going down like this, right? It's almost like a tailspin of qualifying yourselves. Because what happens is it's like they're continuing to bet double or nothing over and over, trying to get that validation. And they don't know they're doing it, right? So isn't it funny that like the most popular, like knowledgeable people, including like a beautiful girl, right? Like a gorgeous girl who normally is like, you can't get with me, I'm too hot. But then even the scrubbiest guy, when he just disrupts her reality, she'll make out with him now. She'll make out with a perfect stranger within 30 seconds. So, okay, these are great tricks. I mean, they're cool. They're really cool. It's fun to be able to do that. It's a fun little skill to have. What I just did there, you guys can go out and try that tonight. And it's a fun little thing. It's fun, right? And when you learn it, you feel great. When you do that, when you get your first make out with a girl that you just met, it's amazing, right? Sometimes, over time, you even make out with girls you haven't even spoken a word to. That's when you're really in the zone, right? Like you're so in the zone, and then you just sort of see a girl as you walk by, and you just go in, and you just start making out. You're like, oh man, right?
Oh, when they just grab you randomly?
Sure, yeah.
You
had that?
They're just
yeah. Yeah. When I've really had it, I even had this happen to me once. I was talking to a girl, and I see out of my peripheral vision this grumpy looking girl come over, right? She's like, ugh. And she goes, get out of here, and shoves the girl off, right? I thought it was the friend pulling the cock block move, and then she's like, so what's your name? Immediately, I was blown away, right? I'm not gonna say, she wasn't like a hostile in the club or anything, but I was blown away. I couldn't believe it, right? And that was sort of when I was first discovering what it means to act through your own intentions. Now, the button push. Great stuff. You learn it and it's a thrill. But here's where the pitfall is. It's brutal. When you learn how to do this, you feel like you're this attractive guy. Because you say to yourself, how many of my friends could get a make out with a girl within 30 seconds? How many of my friends could do that? None. Right? They can't do it. How many of my friends can just walk up to any girl and make her laugh at his jokes? None. And now all of a sudden your buddies think you're a huge pimp. And everyone thinks you're a huge pimp. And girls are responding to you like you're a huge pimp. But what happens at nighttime? Are you warmly snuggled with some girl you like?
No.
Or do you have your laptop out and a bottle of Vaseline on the nightstand? Right? Okay? So what's the deal? Right?
Worse than that. You can't keep it up forever. Even if you get a leg off of 8 hours or whatever, right? Then she's like, oh, he thinks he's lower value.
Oh yeah, the relationship can go down. And I blew many relationships like that. Because again, I had that belief that man was here, woman was here, and I had to keep qualifying myself. Now, I guess you could say that even when you hold the girl's attention and you try to disrupt her reality, right? It's a good way to hook initial attention. But what tends to happen is, once you revalidate her, what happens?
She's back in her reality.
Have any of you guys ever like pushed a girl away hard, got the make out, and then after you make out, she just leaves?
Gone.
Yeah. And that blows you away, right? You're like, how could this be happening? Okay. I remember when I was really learning how to play hard to get, I started to see the potential of it. I really liked the hard to get frame. So I did that. And I would get these really incredible results in the field, but it wasn't translating into the close. All right? The word close sucks so much. I've just been watching Entourage, and they call it the close on Entourage. I love that show. Because, I mean, the word close kind of implies like you're a salesman trying to close, like you're wanting something. But you know what I'm saying, okay? Okay? Going to the full deal, all right? Because what happens is, when you're playing hard to get, it's really hard to maintain that. I mean, if you want to do the hard to get style, you can do it. But essentially what you have to do is it has to be hard to get from the start all the way to the end. Like, get out of here. You know what? I'm not going anywhere with you right now. Yes, you are. The girl's like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not going with you. She's like, yes, you are. I'm like, get out, go away. Right? And she's like, no, and she'll drag you, right? And then even when you get back to the house, it's like, nothing is happening tonight. It's not happening. Okay, maybe I'll kiss you. You are not taking those off. Don't do it. Don't take it off. And then she'll start peeling the clothes off and she, and goes like that, right? And you can make that happen, but that is the fucking high wire act of the decade. It really is. Okay? I've made it work because I went out 1,000 nights in a row. So you can make it work, but you are playing a tightrope act. And I used to feel like, it's like this is how I used to feel. And it really affected my self-esteem. I felt like if I made one little mistake, the girl would just leave. I'm like, why is it that when I make one little mistake, like I just say one stupid thing, and the same girl that used to like me doesn't like me anymore? And it almost made me like angry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so fucking shallow. It's such bullshit, and it made me angry. Yeah. Nah, man, it wasn't the girl's fault. It was me. I was causing that. Because I didn't know what real masculine polarity was. I certainly didn't have it. And so I was relying on button push after button push. Okay? Give a little entertainment. Push them away. To keep that draw. You know how when we say polarity, we mean like a draw? So it doesn't last. That's the issue. And so your close rate goes down. So why do we teach all this silly, esoteric, feel the inner body and dilate the perception, this silly, esoteric stuff that seems so unrelated? Why do we teach that?
Because it's not rooted in external validation.
Yes, because it sticks. All right? It sticks. And isn't it wonderful? Right? That same polarity that normally is like a spike, like you're spiking keep spiking it to keep it drawing towards you, rather than being like, the roaring brush fire, it's like that searing hot coal. It just sits there. Almost like a searing hot, like, like a searing hot coal just kind of sits there like that, right? Just sitting there, like the ember, right? You just can kind of sit there. Right? You can just talk. And you know what? You can do all those little rules that you had before, like don't ask rapport-seeking questions? Like don't seek rapport too early. I used to teach that. Don't seek rapport too early. Well, when you have that polarity, a different set of rules applies to you. Because a lot of those old constraints that you used to have in your interactions with women, like you have this rule, you can't break this rule, you can't break that rule, a lot of those begin to evolve. And you can break the rules, and you still, quote-unquote, get away with it. All right? So a lot of those rules, like, for example, don't be too generic. You might be, remember how we talked about surface and then depth? On the surface, what you may be doing, it may be generic. Or not. You can take, really strong masculine polarity and be totally off the wall. But let's say that it is generic. Well, the surface layer of the conversation might be generic, but the depth that's going on there is totally, totally different. And that's why guys will say, well, whenever I go up and I introduce myself, I just get blown off. Well, there's no depth in you, man. There's no depth there, all right? So that's why the blow-off is occurring. Don't get hard on yourselves if that's happening, but generally that's why. You want to know another reason why sometimes you get blown off? Because the girl's a dummy, all right? Or because she's busy. So don't take responsibility for getting blown off on all counts. By the way,